official. Raymond White also here with us, a national security expert. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with the removal of Lieutenant General Charles Costanza out at V Corp. First, explain to us what V Corp is, James, and tell us what you think's going on here.
Well, 5 Corps, not V, but 5 Corps is one of our units under EUCOM in Europe, and they are very focused right now with supporting the Ukraine mission and other security missions on the eastern part of NATO. The removal, according to The Hill, had to do with conduct. Although the fact that they're not highlighting this and that everybody's keeping quiet about this tells me that, they're trying to respect the general. They're trying to ease him out somehow. His replacement, General Felty, had already been approved by the Senate for a promotion. So everything was in place for the transition. They're just hurrying it up. And whatever General Costanza did, maybe we'll find out about it and maybe we won't.
It was made very clear that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, Raymond, wants his people in place. We do see things shifting strategy-wise across Europe, towards the Pacific, and also in the Middle East. What do you make of this decision to remove Costanza from his duty?
Hey, John, thanks for having me back on again.
Sure.
So I think we already discussed the vast majority of this a few seconds ago. What I took note of most importantly out of the statement that was made was that they would be pushing this up to a higher level. So in government speak, typically what that means is there's some kind of wrongdoing, there's some kind of possible investigation, some kind of HR or sexual harassment claim, who knows what it might be. But it's going to be basically turned over to other folks like the IG to inspect and find out what's really happened and what's going on. And then they've also given him essentially a way to leave gracefully.
So we don't think this is any kind of difference in strategy, that there's something else here?
I'm not hearing that. From what the comments were, this sounds like simply a transition that's been sped up based on personnel-related matters.
Okay. Back to you, James. Do you think this is going to affect the United States and NATO's ability to operate in Europe, having someone this senior leaving this post at this time?
No, I don't think so. His replacement, General Felty, was already online to take command, and he's very well acquainted with the situation in Europe. In fact, as commander of the 1st Cavalry, which was his previous position or his current position, it was his unit from one of his brigade combat teams that was supposed to deploy to Poland, but then was pulled back. So clearly he's been in touch with the administration about what's going on in Europe. He's familiar with it. He's familiar with the people there. And I think the transition will just be very smooth.
Oh, just one more question for both of you. Back to Frank Kendall. This looks to be a different situation here. And the Pentagon has been very clear about what it will do with leakers. This seems like a pretty grave situation, at least according to the Pentagon. First to you, Raymond.
Yeah, so this is a completely different situation, as you mentioned. Secretary or former Secretary Kendall, has had a clearance for several years now. He's, ever since he left the Biden administration, has taken that clearance with him, and that clearance has clearly allowed him to continue his employment with Council on Foreign Relations and other associations and whatnot. So he's used it to create money, let's say. I think what it comes down to is the capabilities and countermeasures of Air Force One, which is perhaps the most sensitive plane in the entire United States, aircraft fleet. If you take that and you combine that with the comments from Iran that they're planning to use missiles to shoot things down, this was a completely unforced error, to use a baseball term. And I think he's going to pay for this, essentially, because this revocation of his clearances is ultimately going to hit him in the wallet. So I don't think this is political in any way. But what I do think is this is just, like I said, an unforced foul Clearly he needs to get a little bit more up to speed on social media in terms of how it operates.
Right. They call it Air Force One because it is the number one priority because the president's inside, James. And you think about of all the things to leak, this being what was actually leaked out, apparently, very dangerous.
Oh, very dangerous. And he should know better. If you have a security clearance, it's not just that you can't release a classified document. Everybody knows that. But you can't even affirm things that are in open source or being repeated as true. So if it's, based on your knowledge of classified information, he should know better. He's a Trump critic. He served in 2 Democratic administrations. So we get the idea that he wanted to be out there and be relevant. But the fact is he was touching on areas of concern, a very important concern of the safety of the president, where he has special access to certain knowledge. And even if he says, oh, I wasn't touching classified information, no, the fact that someone at his level of authority can even affirm anything that's being reported, he just shouldn't do it, and now he's going to pay a price for it.
Yeah, and again, reminder just of how intertwined these types of bureaucrats are into the national security infrastructure, even after they leave their posts. Raymond White, James Robbins, guys, thank you so much. Great to see you. Well, in less than 2 hours, Todd